Welcome back to Catholic Conversations. For any of our new listeners, I'm your host, Joelle Zarnowski, and this week we are joined by Gina Kulak and Buddy O'Malley, who are here to talk to us about Respect Life Month and what's going on in some of our Catholic schools. So thank you so much for being here today.
Absolutely. Glad to be here.
Yeah, so we're sticking with our theme of Respect Life Month for all of October on the podcast. And so last week we had Lisa Hall and Lucianne on to talk about Project Rachel. And then so now we just kind of want to transition to hear about what some of our teens are doing. So Gina, I know you work at Bishop Ludd and Grimes, and you're involved in the Respect Life group at the school. And then you also teach there as well, correct?
Yes, I teach theology to 9th and 10th graders.
Awesome.
At least right now. So, yeah.
Yeah. And you guys are celebrating Spirit Week this week.
Yes,
so
that's
you're
why
all
I'm dressed like a
decked
cowgirl.
out.
I normally don't wear the boots. I assure you.
That's great, though. It's nice that you have all these fun things that you can do with the students to keep them engaged.
Yes,
So,
definitely.
Wonderful. So to start out, could you, both of you, share what inspired you to become involved with Respect Life ministry? And then Gina, specifically for you, what kind of called you to, be a part of that at the school with the kids?
Want to take that first?
Sure, I'll go first. So I grew up going to Catholic schools. I feel like a lot of us did, all the way elementary and then through Franciscan University. My parents really instilled in me early that Respect Life mindset, I guess, and not just the issue of abortion, but all of the life issues. So that's something I've always really been passionate about and cared about, and I feel like had a charism for. And then when I did get the opportunity with the Family Respect Life office, it just kind of was a perfect fit. And be able to do that professionally and get up and go to work every day and work on Respect Life issues. And being able to work in the schools as well, I was able to go to every single school last year and doing the same this year, and it's really been a blessing.
That's great. That's great. And Gina, how about you?
So I, as well, went through Catholic schools basically my whole life, and graduated from Ludden. And I remember one year when our history teacher said, "What's the biggest political issue for you in this election?" And for me, it was abortion. And no one else had that as their biggest issue. Go figure. But that was just my general thoughts as a young person growing up. But what really brought this mission or the Respect Life for me to reality was when one of my sisters, her friend, became pregnant, and they were very excited about it. And around her first sonogram, she had gone to the doctor, and they told her that the best course of action was to abort the baby, that the baby would have no chance of survival outside the womb, and that if it did survive, it would be for just moments. And of course, that's not what anyone wants to hear.
Right.
And this couple said, "We're not going to do that. We're going to have this child." And the doctors hem and hawed and continued to try to convince them that this was the best course of action. And so she gave birth at a prenatal unit for specialties. And when the baby was born, there were very little complications, as in very few. Today, he is a 13-year-old boy. He has had a kidney transplant about a year ago, but he lives a perfectly normal life. And to be told that your only choice is to give up your child, I think we deserve better than that.
Yeah.
So for me, that really brought it home that this is an important issue. Not only for unwed moms, but people that really want their child are being told that they don't have any options. Yeah. Which, I mean, it was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And now to see that little boy is just so life-giving.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So as far as our schools go, what kind of events are planned for Respect Life Month? I mean, obviously we have our Masses for Life that are held at all of our high schools. But outside of that, what kind of events, projects, activities do you see planned in our schools during this time to, raise awareness for Respect Life issues, not just focusing, of course, on abortion, but all life issues?
So one of our students does what's called Morgan's Message, which is suicide prevention, and she runs the group all on her own. She has started a psychology club at the school where she gets people to come interested in mental health issues, just to learn about mental health, because a lot of our students don't have inherent dignity for themselves. They do not know they actually have that. And it's hard to move forward when they don't feel that themselves with other people. So it's a great thing that she has done. For other activities that we're doing, we are doing a bottle drive for Birthright. I basically hand out the baby bottles. Whoever wants one, come and grab it, fill it with change. We've done this every year. And every year I'm surprised by how many kids actually bring them back. And I've already gotten, so we go from October 1st right to the 31st, and then I take them. And I've already gotten 4 bottles back. And we're
it's
what's
been a
today,
day.
the second. It's been 2 days.
Yep.
So they've already brought them back, and some of them have taken other bottles with them. Something else that we're doing is we're doing a Friday morning rosary. I said that I would be in the chapel. It's the month of the rosary as well as Right to Life month. So I said I will be in the chapel at 7:15 for whoever would like to say the rosary. No prior experience needed. I always really try to make it very non-threatening for students. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to do anything. If you want to lead a decade of the rosary, great. If not, I will do the entire thing if that's what you want to do. So we'll see. Tomorrow morning's our first one. And I actually had one of my students today come to me and say, did you check out the Google Classroom? And I said, no. He said, I made a flyer for the event.
Oh, that's so great.
I said, that's great. So he put this really nice flyer together for me, so I didn't even have to do that. So
nice.
It's very encouraging. So those are just a few things that we're doing. We try to do at least one thing a month that we're sponsoring. We have done the spiritual adoption. We have done the, we've gone to Joseph's house and helped out there. We've done a paper goods drive in the past for Joseph's house, where we collect paper towels, toilet paper, because they can't have anything that you can reuse there. They have to use all paper products. So when I asked how could we best help, they said, actually, if you could just do things like paper plates and stuff like that, that would be great.
Oh, awesome.
Okay. So we've done that too in the past. So we try to do at least one thing a month.
Oh, that's great. So it's kind of a combination of like service while still focusing on Respect Life issues, which is wonderful. It's awesome. And then, Buddy, I know that you are connected with our other high schools in the diocese, and next week, Generation Life is going to be here. So can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Generation Life is a pro-life organization based out of Philadelphia, and their focus is the pro-life message and rooting out abortion at the cause, which is chastity. So their message is all about chastity and the dignity of human life through chastity and the worth of every person. And they kind of speak to that issue from that angle, which I think is helpful as well, because I know, like Gina said, the self-worth, the value of every person, that's something that I think has never been harder for our young people and in our high schools. And being able to witness these young people who are giving time out of their lives to come and speak to other young people about this message, it's really powerful. So we're really looking forward to having them here in the diocese.
Yeah, and we're going to have them on the podcast next week too. So that'll be a nice continuation of our theme for the month. Great. So can you share a little bit about how students take ownership in these groups? Like you just said, this young man made a flyer for this rosary, totally unprompted. What else are you seeing students do to really, take ownership of these groups in their schools and to, become involved to maybe help get their peers involved and spread the word?
So for what I found, one of the very difficult things to do in the schools is to find time to do anything as a club. There is never a good time. There is sports, there is musicals, there is practices, there are home obligations where you have a few kids that can meet in the morning and a few in the evening. So what I've done is I do everything via Google Classroom. So I have a Google Classroom set up. I put out events that are coming up. They can put in things that they would like to. So for example, my student put in the flyer, and for Morgan's message, they can put in anything they would like to put in there. And that way we stay in contact with each other without having to actually meet. But it's always amazing to me, especially when it comes to events like the March for Life here in Syracuse, where no matter how cold it is, and last year I think it was raining ice.
It was sleet. I remember.
Yeah.
Awful. It was absolutely awful. Frozen fingers. And yet I still had students showing up, being there, wanting to represent life from all aspects. And I stress with the students, it's very important that it is from conception to natural death, that it is mental health. It is bullying. It is just respecting every single person's dignity because they're created in the image of God. It has nothing to do with their looks or their how productive they are. None of that matters to God. They are loved by God. And so we really do try to explain to students that this is something that is always present. And I think you're starting to see a culture the results of a culture where that has not been the case.
Yeah.
Where life is not cherished.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think that a lot of times the attention is so much on, the unborn and abortion. And so there is this, it kind of sometimes maybe gets glossed over that we are talking about life all the way through. And it isn't just about, babies. It's not just about mothers. It's not just about the elderly when they're dying. It's you have so much time in between those bookends that, we still do need to cherish life. And so I do think that a lot of people might not consider the thought of, suicide prevention or bullying. I mean, those two things go hand in hand. And with social media and everything the way that it is nowadays, I think so many kids are experiencing those feelings of inadequacy and, I have to measure up to everybody else. And, it is so easy to be picked on online because you're hiding behind a screen. And so having those conversations with the kids and letting them know, like, this is part of respecting life, is treating everyone the way that God intended, with love and care and compassion.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's very hard, especially for teenagers. Very, very hard.
Yes. So
that's beautiful that you have, a wide variety of things that you're offering to the students. So the groups that we have in the schools, and like maybe even groups that you might have come in and speak to some of the students throughout the year, how are they helping to educate students on the dignity of life? Like, obviously Generation Life, they're going to come in and speak, but I would assume that there are other things that are going on during the school year where this comes up in conversation in theology classes and whatnot. So what else are you seeing happen with that?
Well, it's I was going to mention right away that it's definitely the fact that every day we have theology class. Every day, this is what we're talking about. Ninth grade, we do moral theology. So we go through social justice issues. And then again, in 12th grade, they hit social justice issues. So we try to connect with them the idea that the service that they do.
Yeah.
So we have service hours that are required. But I always said that I hate the idea of service hours being required, that it really is them finding their place in the church. And so whether it's helping at the rescue mission or the Samaritan Center or whatever they're doing, it should be something they feel as much that they are getting something in return as that they are giving, because they are trying to find, well, how do I fit into this church? Because it's them that's going to lead this church. It's not going to be me, or I'm going to be past my time. It's going to be them.
Yeah.
And so it really is important that they see how life is in every single thing that we do. I mean, sometimes they don't get that. They don't have the follow through, like we were saying, that, okay, so you're sitting here and you're marching for, life. And then, then you're making fun of your brother and you're, kicking him. Do you see the disconnect here?
Yeah.
That it really is about that follow through, and it's about good sportsmanship in their sports. It's about being attentive at mass and really realizing that we're there to worship God. It's all of these pieces together.
Yeah.
That it's a whole of Christian dignity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have anything that you want to add?
Yeah, no, that was great. I think too, just in this social media age that we're in, and like JP2 talks about in the culture of death, there's just so much like coming at the students, and I feel like especially in the last few years, it's kind of been a shift away where I feel like when I was growing up, everyone I went to school with, we were all pro-life, or at least, we thought. And then I feel like especially that paradigm has kind of shifted away a little bit. So I think, like Gina said, kind of tying it together in life issues, because like abortion, for example, this great evil we know, people who are supporting it for the most part don't think it's evil. They're not like, I'm going to go out and be evil today. That's not what they're thinking.
Right,
I think it's about that education, and then theology class every day, and talking about it in theology classes, and having theology teachers who are willing to talk about it, even though some of the kids don't, they're not there yet. They don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
And I think our theology teachers being willing to talk about it and testify to it and to what the church says has been really, really helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was so whenever they're doing group activities, I'm always listening.
Yeah.
And I rarely will say anything, because I really am interested in what they're thinking. And so one of our very first activities was they had to put themselves in a little country. They're starting their own country, and they had to come up with their own rules. And then they had to take different situations, and these were just the textbook situations, and say, well, how are we going to judge that in our country? And abortion was one of the issues, as was capital punishment. And I heard a lot of what I'll say the media lines of, well, unless it's rape, or unless it's this, or unless it's that. It was, and I'm listening because I realize these are things that I'm going to have to address as we go through, that none of these things, matter, that it's about the fact that a life is a life. And that's really the bottom line. So they do have a lot of what I'll say are misconceptions of Catholic theology, of course. So by just listening to them, I find the things that I need to talk to them about as we go forward, or at least make them aware of. And I always do, when I'm teaching, I always say to them that hopefully you'll never know my opinions on anything, that I teach the teachings of the church, and that's it. And to at least understand where the church is coming from on the issues. And once you look into them, they make a lot of sense to the kids. So.
Yeah. So you're giving them the opportunity to do their own investigating and learning, and, still forming decisions for themselves, but hopefully guided by the church's teachings.
Right. At our very last assignment is they each get a social issue, and they have to apply the church's teachings to the social issue. So not their own opinion, but the teachings of the church they have to go through. And I've never had any problems, even when they feel politically different than the issue. They still will say, well, the church feels this way because of this, this, and this. And I think that's really important when we go forward, that we have reasons for what we state when we try to interact with the culture and at large.
Right. Right. Absolutely. So before we wrap up,
Mm-hmm.
would you both just be willing to share the impact that you've seen these groups make on the students and them, their peers, the wider community, and how students can get involved if maybe they're listening to this and they aren't already involved, how they could.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think something that really has been impactful for me is our office does have the Bishop Moynihan Scholarship. So part of my job is to read through all of those submissions and go through and reading some of them and then getting to meet the winners as well. It was just really affirming for me, at least, as part of the pro-life community, to see kids get it. And there is a word limit, so they don't have a lot of space to do it too. And they really show that they understand it. And then seeing them come out, like you said, I think about the Mass March, Holy Hour for Life last year, where it was miserable weather. And we did have a big group from Bishop Grimes come, and we were able to get one of our winners from Seton Catholic down in Binghamton drove up on an awful day like that.
Yeah, he was a guest on the podcast.
Yes, yeah.
Before from the God Squad. So,
The God Squad. That seeing them has been really, really impactful as well. And I was like, I wish we had more stuff like this when I was in school. And then it's kind of like, well, we could have. I could have done it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it really does start just with you, and I think that you can. If you are a student listening, these pro-life groups exist for you to be able to reach an impact for your other students. Because I know that if you are a pro-life student, I'm sure you're hearing a lot of stuff that goes against that. And these groups do exist to help support you and for you to help support that message.
Yeah, absolutely. And Gina, what about you?
For me, it is just the example these students are setting that really inspire me. It's them giving up their lunchtime to sponsor the spiritual adoption. It's them coming in tomorrow at 7:15 instead of 7:45 to say the rosary. It's them volunteering to do the mass readings and to participate. It's them standing out in negative degree weather, marching for life. Kids are so passionate about what they care about. That's something that they all have. And I really think that it shows that even though it seems there's not a large group of students that support life, I think that when they look at it in the actual situations and they think about them, it's my friend that needs a little, help with the mental challenges that they're having, or it's my friend that is getting bullied, or it's the situation of, I'm here and maybe I wouldn't have been here. When they start to really think about these things, they see how important it is to stand up for those beliefs. And of course they need help. So when it comes to Ludden Grimes, we're very blessed in that we're now a joined community. Our students seem very happy and joyful with each other. It's nice to see the hallways crowded because it's packed. And there's a vibrance there. And so for us, I was so surprised when I launched the Google Classroom this year, and I just put the invite code out there. I did one announcement on our morning announcements, and I already have 10 kids signed up in the Google Classroom in one day. It shocked me.
Yeah.
I was expecting, a couple of teachers and maybe a couple of students that I knew of.
Yeah.
But it surprised me of how many were there and how many grabbed baby bottles. So they do care. And they are great in numbers, even though it doesn't seem that way.
Yeah.
So their example is what sets it for me and keeps me going for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Well, thank you both again so much for joining us and for sharing everything that's going on in our schools. And we'll look forward to having Generation Life on with us next week.
Yeah.
And
they'll do great.
and keep on with the rest of our Respect Life issues for this month. So
All right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And thanks for our listeners. We'll see you next week.